All right, so we've got Ash here, a career coach. What the heck are we celebrating?
Fucking hugest, biggest month ever, $75,000 in cash for October. So insane.
Crazy. And like for context, if you're watching this, you went from 0 to 75K a month in your coaching business in 9 months. Like that's pretty freaking awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane. If I actually look at what I've achieved this year, it's just like been on steroids the growth. And
I
it's
know.
been really, really fun and scary. Fucking awesome.
All right, before we play the rest of this video, if you want help with this stuff, right? Like growing your business, scaling your business, it might be leads, it might be, closing more sales, maybe it's hiring a team, whatever it is. If you want help with this, click the link below this video, book in a time to chat with me and let me see if I can help you grow. All right, let's get back to the video. No, it's crazy. And like in this testimonial too, like we're gonna probably, because we've already filmed another one from 0 to 26K. So if you want to watch that video, you can. But this one's more about like 26K to 75K. But I will say real quick, like I still think it's so crazy that we're on this call because I literally remember 9 months ago like you reached out, we had a conversation, and you almost didn't join the fucking program. And I fucking fought for you in the DMs. I was like, no, like we're not gonna let this go here. And like I'm really glad that I'm glad that you jumped and I'm glad that I fought for you to get here?
Yeah, 1000%, 1000%.
Yeah.
I'm grateful for you pushing me, to I guess address my fears full on and like, fully get into it, right? It's like the best decision I've ever made for my life. Like
For sure.
that's the turning point of when everything changed.
I know. And just for fun on like this call, but like take me back to what you were thinking
Mm,
because
yeah.
you were in a completely different reality. Like you were in corporate, coaching business was not a thing. I don't think had a coaching offer. And I think like remember that moment where you were like you did you have to call the bank or something or you were figuring money out or like take me back to that moment because like you just like
Yeah.
jumped universes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like I just made this decision that like at the beginning of the year 2025, like I just wasn't happy with where my life was
Yeah.
at, right? And so I had this idea to set up this coaching business and I had no idea of what I was like. It was I was lost. And then when we were talking and everything, like I loved it, but I had so much fear because I didn't know anything about coaching, right? I also was just like, what if I spend all of this money and it doesn't work? What if I fail? Like there was all of this fear going through my head. And I think I came back to you and said, I love your program. I love what you do, but I'm going to wait. Like I'm going to give myself 3 months and I'm going to figure it out. And
Mhm.
then you gave me all of this value, like in the DMs of like, are you doing this? Have you thought about this? I was just like, she gives a shit. Like she actually wants me to be successful. Like you were so genuine, like voice notes and all those things that I was just like, I've got to get resourceful, right? Like I was working in corporate, had like a huge mortgage, like money was pretty tight, And so I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, right? But I need to go and, talk to the bank, blah, 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 blah. And I literally had the money there. I was talking to my husband. I was like, do I do it? Do I do it? And he was just like, what are you waiting for? He's like, I know you. If you don't do this, you're going to be so hard on yourself and so upset. Like, just fucking do it. So I did. It was the scariest thing that I did. But yeah, now I know it's the best thing.
Crazy. Crazy story. I'm glad you shared that. That's super cool.
Mm.
Okay, so let's unpack for people like what the heck did you do? And like we said, if you guys want to watch the 0 to 26K testimonial, that's a different set of things that we did. But now it's more like, okay, how did you go from 26K a month to 75K a month and scaling up? Um, you said one thing before we were like mapping this out before we got on the call, but like you just doubled down on everything that's working.
Mhm.
So yeah, unpack that for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the thing, like with your program, Morgan, and what you've taught me is like, I'm always looking at the metrics to make sure that I know exactly what is happening in my business, right? And then the things that are working, I doubled down on. So, for example, I think the actual first thing that I did was, well, I doubled my ad spend, and then I think I 3x my ad spend, right? Because you're like, this is working, just like put more gas on the fire, basically. And like it was an easy lever to pull, like as you always say. And so that was, totally blew up all of the leads, and like, my following
In a
really
good
got
way.
lifted.
We're saying in a good way, by the way. Blew up in a
So
good
like, yeah, like opened all these people coming to me, right? So I think that thing was really crucial. The other part I will say is that like you taught me from the beginning, like with content, for example, like who is your ideal client? What are they saying? Like what are their problems? What are, the statements that you hear over and over again? And then so I was like, well, I need to double down on that type of content, because every time I get on a sales call, someone is saying, oh, it was this piece of content that resonated with me, right? So it's like, great, we make more of that. Um, so that was definitely been a game changer. I think also if we look at, I guess more of like the leads and like talking to people and in the DMs and all of that, I, got a VA to come in and do all the openers, which is what you taught me how to do. I've got like 2 people doing my settings. Like I have a whole team in there that's like managing all of the lead flow that's coming through. So
100%.
actually just building the right systems to support, the spend, I suppose. So like all of that is essentially what you've taught me, but it's just like double down and like doing more of what works and what makes sense and is actually simple.
For sure. Like, I want anyone who's watching this to like fucking really understand this. It's like, it's back to freaking Hormozy's scaling framework of like, more, better, new, right? So it's like,
Mm.
if something's working, the best risk adjusted return is to do something that's the same. You just do more, right? And then you do it better. And then you go to new. Like, there's levers we haven't even pulled in your business. Like, we haven't launched retargeting ads yet. You don't even have the
Yeah.
YouTube channel yet. And you're already here, you know? Um, so I think that's like really big for people to hear. The other thing I want people to hear too, there's one thing I don't think we talked about yet, but they kind of go hand in hand. What you said about the messaging, you paid attention to what people were saying in the DMs, what objections they had, what problems they had, and the same thing on the sales calls. And then you took all of that stuff and just put it back into your content and doubled down on what was working. And like that's how you build a coaching business where it's a flywheel. Like everything
Mm.
in the business feeds everything else in the business. So like that was brilliant. And you did something else too, which was good. You talked about like you zoned even in more narrow on your ideal client because you started only targeting people that were 6 figures, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, actually, even when I was at like the 26K mark, I was
Yeah.
pretty much bringing in anyone, right? And like my price point was a lot lower at that point as well. So it didn't really matter if you made like 75K or 80, you could afford it, and life was still good, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But I've also like now doubled my offer, so the price is more. And also the results in the program are amazing, right? So I'm also like, well, you get all of this value. So not only am I double my price, but therefore I have to go after a certain type of client.
For
So
sure.
now we don't talk to anyone unless they earn over $100,000. And in career coaching, that's, the cutoff kind of thing. That also just really nailed down in terms of like, this is our ideal client. This is who we can help.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, the results follow, I guess.
I love it. I love it. And then the other thing you did too is like you put that into the ads because you went from a more general message in your ads, kind of like a little, I don't want to say spray and pray, but like a little more general broad, right? And then you're like, no, no,
Yeah.
no, no, we need these people over here and we're going to gear all our ads towards that. And then like that makes your job easier setting in the DMs because you've got more ideal people, right? Um,
Yeah.
and then also too, like for context, like I know people right now in their coaching business and they want to scale their business, but they're spending like 20 bucks a day on ads. Like you started at what, like 50 bucks a day. Now you're at 250, I think we did the average. I think we're
Yeah.
a day.
So, like pretty much day one when I started spending money with you, I spent $50 a day,
Yes.
right? So it went like 50, 150, 180, 280. I'm looking at my stats.
Yeah.
500, 420, like, you know, like it just like it's increased, like that's weekly spend. So
Yeah.
this is like the one thing that I think a lot of people are really scared to do. They're
Yeah.
so scared to spend money. And I am not.
Yeah.
I'm not now because I know it works, right?
Yeah.
Um, I guess I have this ethos of like, yeah, it's fucking scary to like spend money, but like look at the metrics. It's telling me what my ROAS is. Like it's pretty much foolproof.
Literally. I mean, you spend $1 and every time you spend $1, you make back 8. So
Yeah.
great. Yeah. Okay. Super cool. And what about, we already kind of spoke about some of the stuff in terms of content of like just doubling down on what works, but you pulled another lever, which I think was brilliant for content. So tell me about that.
Yeah, so I guess this is the other thing. Like the busier I got, I didn't have time to be making my own content and thinking of all the hooks and all this stuff. So I actually got this amazing lady in Mexico who helps me. You know, we brainstorm. I give her like, you know, all of the commentary and all the things that I want to focus on. She creates all of my hooks, my scripts. I film it. She edits it. She posts it. Like it saves me so much time.
Cool. Okay. Super cool. Cool, cool. Um, it's brilliant that you did that, right? Because like I mean, we'll talk about this later, but you do have scaling problems now, right? So you're like, okay, I need someone to help me with content. I need someone to help me with client success. So you kind of got to pull those levers. What
Yes.
about speaking of that in the DMs? I think you said you brought on another setter, and then you also brought in a VA.
Yes, that's exactly what you told me to do, right? So, like the VA, it's actually like a really low cost, high value because my VA is in the Philippines. So it's like $8 an hour, right? Which is like great for them. But she does all my opening messages. And so everyone that follows me, like, you know, we're engaging straight away. And then the two setters that I have, like one in the morning, one in the evening, they're just having the conversations, right? Like they're having really rich, beautiful conversations with people that we want to work with.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's actually so nice just to like take that stress away as well. And then so actually the setters can focus on doing work that, you know, is really value driven for me.
100%. I love that because you've got the setters on 2 shifts, which means you have better coverage in your inbox, which means you have better speed to lead, so more people book calls and show whenever. And then the other thing that you've done with the VA is you've got it separated where they're just opening the messages and the setters are just in the inbox, and so they're doing the highest skill thing that they could do. And then they're not context switching, trying to start conversations and then continue them and then go hunting for more leads and then like it's just more
Right.
efficient, cost effective.
Right. I will say this as well. Like I remember when we had this conversation in the group and you're like, hey, I'm doing this thing, like you guys should do it.
Mhm.
And I was like, again, like with the things that you've told me, I'm a good student. Everything that you tell me to do, I do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I think also that's like the difference. Some people are like, oh, I don't know, or I'm nervous, or like that's change. And I'm like, nope, like we're hiring this person tomorrow. Like, let's fucking go, you know. Um, Speed to
I was
get it
just gonna
done.
I was just gonna say like that's another key thing. Like if you're listening to this, like read between the lines and pick up like the character traits that you have because it's like risk taking is one of them. It started when you joined the program. It started again when you hired a setter. It started again when you hired a VA. It started again when you had to 5x your ad spend. Like if you can't take
Mhm.
a risk to get in a program, how do you think you're going to take a fucking risk to grow your business, right?
Right. Right. And then I also remember, like on the content thing, for example, that was like around July. So I just hit my first 20K month, 26K month. I was going to Bali for my 40th, so I was spending quite a bit of money. Like I just bought on my setter, so she was getting commission. So like although I'd hit 26K, it was like I was still spending. And then I had to spend money on this content thing. So I think in USD it was like I don't know, 6,000 USD. So in Australia, that's like, you know,
12 or
1.5.
something. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
And I was like, do I do this? I'm about to go to Bali. Like, can I really afford it? And I was like, no, fuck it. Like, it's going to change the trajectory of the next quarter, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I think also a lot of people would have been like, oh no, like, I want to do the safe thing with my money.
Mhm.
So I took the risk, and 2 weeks later, it paid off, right?
And there's more risks that we'll talk about with the sales jump and all the other stuff, but I really I really want people to hear that like the risk taking doesn't go away. You just have to
Mm,
become more comfortable with the risk taking, you know?
mm,
And then the other thing you mentioned was just speed. Like I just noticed this with the most successful clients that we have are the people that we will give them something and it's
mm.
done like the next
Yeah,
day, you know, and you
yeah.
just do it, you know, and you're coachable and you don't fight us on stuff and you just go do the thing. So, anyways, um, okay. So I'm like literally going through the funnel diagram in my head. So I'm like, okay, content, DMs. What about sales? Because you made some jumps in sales too.
I did make some jumps in sales. So additional to what you had taught me, so I had all of these leads coming through, but also like just I needed to work on like my sales pitch and like, just refine it even further. So you introduced me to someone who helped me refine that even further, and I invested with them again, which was, yeah, beautiful. Like you brought the salesperson into the program. And so I got a bit of a taste of what could happen. I implemented a few things he said. I saw results. I was like, yeah, I'm going all in here. And this has been so good for me because, again, not just in your group, but in this group, I'm surrounded by entrepreneurial, highly successful people that drive and inspire me. And then also, I'm learning so much, right? Like I'm getting really uncomfortable with, you know, saying the hard thing on a sales call and, handling those objections and getting the credit card on the call. And like in October, I had more pay in fulls than I've ever had. I only had 3 clients do a split payment plan. Everything was like, yeah, pay in full, pay in full, pay in full, which I hadn't had before. So that was incredible. And then equally just refining things like who I am. So like, yeah, there's, a script and a process and all of that, but it's like, well, who am I? So actually really getting clear on this is my story. This is why you're in safe hands. And like, this is the moment now in sales calls where people open up and they're like, oh, you get it. And, here's my money. And like, so it's just been these like little tweaks all together that have like, yeah.
I want to touch on that too because I almost filmed a piece of I think I don't even know if I actually did it, but it's like today something on that. It's like the magic that you're looking for isn't in some big new idea. It's in brick by brick doing the little things that just add up over time, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's not like you just can't wave a magic wand and like, oh, poof, like it all worked, right? Like there's always something to build on and to learn and to grow. And it's like, yeah, exactly as you said, piece by piece.
Yeah, yeah. And what you said too about the pre-pitch, because I think this is like a nugget for people. So basically, before you go into your program on a sales call, you're giving them
Mhm.
a little bit of a backstory on you and why you're qualified and how you got here and like all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So I basically talk about like, hey, so I'm like 100% certain that I can help you. But before I do, like, I want to just give you a bit of a rundown of like who I am and what I do. And so you know that you're in safe hands and I'm not some random woman from Instagram. And then I like, go into my thing. Yeah.
Okay. Love it. Love it. That's a really good nugget. And I just want to say too, like that jump that you made to get even more specific help with sales too was like right after the content Bali whatever thing. So it was just like there's like you just jumped and jumped and jumped and jumped basically.
Oh, yeah.
And I love what you said about the community as well too, and just like you can get that from communities that you're in, you can get that from mentors, but it's just like proximity just to people that are pushing you or inspiring you or whatever in the right direction. Like I was talking to a guy today and he's doesn't have a like he's like, oh, I'm just gonna do this stuff on my own for a bit. And I'm like, I mean, you can and you don't need a coach. Like you don't need a community, you don't need a coach, but it's like you're gonna move so much faster with them. And it's not just the information, it's also the people you're around. Like there's a
Yeah.
reason that I am spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to leave Canada and go to the States because it's for the network, you know, like it matters.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And like, I've built some really nice relationships, like in your group as well, like where we're talking almost like if not every day, every second day, on like, hey, congrats on what you did, or like, tell me more about how did you do this thing, and like just sharing like genuine connections with people, because this world of like being an entrepreneur and being a coach, it's fucking lonely when people don't get it, right? Like your husband doesn't necessarily understand, like your friends don't get it, like your mum doesn't know,
Mhm.
you know? So you need those people that just get where you're at.
For sure. Like today we were talking on the mastermind of like when you're on back to back to back sales calls, it's like only a certain number of people would understand that, right? So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
cool.
totally.
And then what about client success? Like delivery? Because I think you're now realizing like, okay, like your calendar was like, I mean, you were booked out for sales calls, I think. It was like 2 weeks you were booked out or something. You just like
Yeah,
didn't.
like I was booked out 14 days in advance, and I'm yeah, slowly fixing that problem. But also scarcity seems to be working for me, right? So hey, go figure. Um, but yeah, so on the CSM side of things, basically, like very, very recently, I've been training a customer success person so she can, and she's had her first official first week this week. So she can basically come in and support all of my clients, which has been so beautiful because this week alone, like we're only, 4 days into the week, she's already saved me like 8 hours of time. So onboarding calls, like checking in with people how they're going, sending them resources, sending out, the Fathom link to my group calls, like just, yeah, it might seem like little things, but like over time, that's 8 hours of time that I would have been giving to the business, right? Or to the client. So yeah.
And not to mention, you would have had to context switch back and forth because we already wear enough hats running a coaching business, right?
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. And I will say, like, I messaged you earlier this week, or maybe it was last week, about this, but I think now that this is in place, actually, I think for the first time ever in my business, I feel very content and light and fulfilled because I'm like, wow, like I've built something where like I have employees and I have people that know my process and that support me. And like, yeah, like it's this huge sigh of relief of like, not that I made it, but it's like, it feels like I'm in just such a solid place. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like it feels like there's a weight lifted off you because there literally is. You know?
It
Yeah.
was. It's yeah, a really awesome feeling. So I'm not like chasing my tail or like, stressed. It's just like, yeah, things are good.
Wait till you get a closer and you put the
Yeah.
last of like, team in there, and then it's like, oh shoot, like these ads are running and they're just bringing me people. I got someone helping with the content. I just film it. I got
Mm.
3 people, VA and setters, helping me book calls. I have someone helping me close, and I have someone helping me fulfill. Like it gets very fun at that point, you know?
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. I can't wait.
Yeah, cool. Okay, I'm just gonna see if there's anything else I want to talk about on here. We talked about doubling down. We talked about getting help with your content. We talked about getting
Mhm.
help with your sales, spending double on ads. One thing too, we briefly touched on, but just for people to hear, like, was it scary for you to raise your price? Yeah, probably, but you did it, and you went from, was it 3K to 5K or?
In terms of raising my offer price, yeah, it was basically over this period of time from 26K to 75, it was 2,500, then it was 3,000, 4,000, and now it's five. Um, so yeah, like I've continually like raised it, and it was scary, right? Because you're like,
It's back to risk. It's like you got to learn how to take risks, you know?
yeah, and I'm gonna get more people saying no. But actually, I've been very surprised. A lot of people are just like, yeah, okay, cool, let's do it.
Yeah,
You're like, oh, okay,
totally.
you know, fuck,
Yeah.
I just made another grand.
Totally. And like say this to people, but it's like you just can't be emotional about it and you just got to do the numbers. And it's like if you doubled your prices, did you cut your close rate in half? No, you have a better business now. You make
Yeah,
more money. Yeah. So,
yeah. I remember as well what you said to me, like, because I was like, do I do it? Do I like raise my price? And you were like, yeah, just do exactly what you're doing, and then just say a different number. And I was like, well, it's not that easy, Morgan. And then like I was like, well, fuck it, I'm just gonna try it. you know. So yeah, it's cool, very cool.
And the worst thing is too, like, you got to test price at some point, right? Like, if you want to run a good business, you test your price. And so it's like, if you raise it and it's not working out, okay, well, put it back to where it was. Like,
Yeah,
what do you have to lose,
awesome.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, sure, for sure.
Okay, so price, two setters and a VA, CSM. We talked about a pre-pitch on the sales call. We talked about your content coming from DMs and sales. Story selling daily. You want to say anything about that?
Yeah, this is really cool. So, well, I definitely stole this idea from you, but
Good.
basically in my wins channel, or anytime someone messages me like, "Oh, I got the offer, I got the interview, I, overcome this obstacle, you helped me with this thing," I literally just take screenshots of it, put it in my stories, boom, 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 DM me dream job. Like the amount of people that I get messaging me being like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. I want this," like all the time. And then it's also so good just for proof of like, before someone has a sales call with me, I know that they've looked at all those like mini testimonials and everything because they always mention it like, wow, yeah, like I saw that result that you got, or like I saw this girl did this. So it's just like such an easy thing to share. And so it's like something I really do religiously. And yeah, I love doing that because it works and it's easy.
And it's like, it's got to just be cool to see, like, yeah, what I do with these people works and like they get great results and like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? I will tell you, like, as a side thing, because the money and all of this stuff is amazing. But I got this voice note from a client the other day that was like, she's a COO, so she's like super senior and been in the same role for 10 years and wants some help. And then literally she went into this interview and she sent me this voice note saying like, Ash, like because of all of the prep that we did and everything that you've taught me, I was so confident and I nailed it. And, she said, I wish I had you earlier in my career. Like, I think you're incredible and you don't realize all the things you're doing for the women in this group.
Yeah.
I like cried because I was just like, this is why, like, this is why I started this thing. So, yeah.
Cool. It hits you in the feels sometimes. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It happens.
it's really,
These testimonials, I'm like, oh, okay, you're gonna make me cry. Anyways,
yeah.
cool, cool. Okay, we talked about ideal client. The only other thing too is like, um, tell me what you said about the metrics, because like you do track your metrics religiously, and like, please, if anyone's listening to this and you're not tracking your metrics, please can start. But you track them religiously, and you look at them every week, and you talk to the team about them. Yeah.
I do, yeah. So I'll caveat before I go into it just with this is that like when I was at school, I was never a maths person. I hated maths. I flunked it. It's like not my thing, right? But you taught me very early on to look at this. And actually the reason I got to my 26K month is because Mika, your customer success awesome lady, she reverse engineered all my metrics, and then that's how I got to where I got, right? So for me, I'm like, I have to do this religiously and I love doing it. So every Monday morning I look at exactly what happened in the previous week, what did I spend, how many posts did I do, like what happened with setting, like every single detail. And then I look at those metrics and then I give that feedback to my team, to the setting team, right? So I'm telling them things, like these are this week's numbers. So like this is how many touch points, this is like how many we pitched, how many sales calls, how many we closed. And then I tell them this is what we did well, like this is what we can learn from it. And then like, here's the focus for the week kind of thing, right?
Love
They
it.
love it. They're really clear on the expectations, but also like, how do you know what to aim for unless you've got the numbers?
For sure. I know. I know. You don't have to tell me. I'm like, I know. Right? I just want to say I love that you're doing that because not a lot of people, and I like that you shared that you weren't a math person either, because that's a belief that people have, like, oh, I'm not good at math. It's like, well, fucking get good.
Mm,
Do you want to be good at business, right? So,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure. There's so many limiting beliefs that you can have in this whole process, right? So it's definitely a mental game as well.
for sure. My favorite part of the game, you know.
Mm.
Um, okay. I mean, I think that's mostly it. We covered a lot of stuff. There's a lot of gold for people in here, not just in the actions that you took, but like in the character traits that you brought to the table or that you cultivated, right? Like
Mhm.
the risks or whatever. But yeah, I mean, really 0 to 75K, but let's say in this testimonial, 26 to 75K. My question for you is like, why does this even matter? Like, what does this do for you in your life? Like, does this change anything? Like,
Everything has changed. Everything has changed, right? Like the person that I have become in itself is like the thing I'm proud of the most, right? So that's one thing. The other part is that I I'm building something that I genuinely believe and care about, but because I'm making the money, there's so many opportunities that have opened up in life for us, right? So, I have a family, I have a husband, I have a 5-year-old son, and the world has really like opened up to us now. So we're having conversations about, okay, do we go and live in Bali for 6 months and then like spend the other 6 months in Australia? And then like actually we're sitting down and saying like, what do we want our life to be like for the next 5 years? And like, what are our goals as a family and what do we want to do? And we want to be adventurous and we want to buy property and travel and just make memories together. And so that's actually what it opens up. And then beyond that, if I look at from a opportunity perspective, I've also I'm supporting other people's families as well. I'm supporting a family in the Philippines. I've got an Australian girl who right now she's in Sri Lanka and then she's like moving to Bali for a few months. And so I'm supporting her lifestyle. Like, isn't that fucking cool? Right. So it's more than just me. It's the ripple effect of, and then obviously, getting people jobs and
I was gonna say
building
your
their.
clients too, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that part is extremely fulfilling. And
Yeah.
I think last week I almost cried 4 times because of all of the great things that are happening. But yeah, Morgan, like, I fucking love you. Like, you just inspire me to the next level. And there is no way in hell I could have done this without you. Yeah, I think also just the relationship that we've built, and you've always been there for me. You always make time for me. I can't thank you enough. It's been incredible.
Cool. The inspiration is mutual, by the way. Yeah. What you've done is no small feat, but I'll just receive that instead of sending it back. But thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Cool. Anything else you have that you want to add?
Here's the thing I want to add is that if you were thinking, like, is it the right thing? Do I join Morgan's program? Like, is it going to work for me? Here's what I want you to know. Morgan knows her shit. She will support you. She has an amazing program. If you do it, put all of your energy into it. Don't doubt yourself. Take the risk, move fast, and you can definitely have the same result.
100%. Cool. I love it. This has been great. I appreciate you for taking the time. I know you got lots of stuff on the go now with sales call, team, and all that
Yeah,
jazz. Um,
yeah. My pleasure. I'll do anything for you. So, my pleasure.
cool. All right, that's a wrap. All right, once again, I hope that you thought this was helpful. I hope this was valuable for you. If you want the absolute most value that I can provide to you, I promise you it's not going to be in a video. It's going to be by freaking working together and letting us help you execute this stuff. So if you want help executing this so that you can grow your business, scale your business, click the link below and find a time to book in a chat with me. I'll see you there.